Hi, we're talking about Your Money Matters on NDTV Profit, and my name is Alex Matthew. Now, the headlines from earlier in the day might have caught your attention. ICICI Bank has gone ahead and said that for new accounts, savings bank accounts that are opened after the 1st of August, the minimum average balance in urban centers and in metros will have to be 50,000 rupees. Now, if you're in one of those areas, you're probably wondering whether you should go out and have an account like that in the first place. So let's talk about that at the start. We're going to talk about this, but we're also going to talk about mid-cap actively managed equity mutual fund schemes and the fact that to a large extent in the recent past, and here I'm talking about a couple of years, they have not managed to beat the benchmark. So increasingly the voices are getting louder to say that maybe even for this category you should look at a passive approach to investing. We're going to talk about those two, and we'll also talk about the latest data on mutual fund inflows or inflows into mutual funds in the month of July. Joining me is Vishal Dhawan, founder and chief executive officer of Plan Ahead Wealth Advisors, and Prableen Bajpai, the founder of FinFix Research and Analytics. Thank you so much to the both of you for taking the time. Vishal, on the first topic, which is a savings bank account and minimum average balance of 50,000 rupees, it sounds a little high. The point is that we've been already talking about people moving away from savings accounts because the rate offered does not beat inflation post-tax. So what would you say about something like this?
Thanks for having me over. So I think there's very clearly two things happening simultaneously. One is banks have cut savings rates to historic lows, and therefore whatever money lies around in savings accounts now typically earns you much lower interest than it did a while ago, and certainly much lower than inflation. On the other side, you now have a whole plethora of options available as an investor to actually park away money that you would normally keep in a savings account to take care of liquidity needs. So historically, what would end up happening is people would put money in a savings account to take care of emergencies, contingencies, etc. And we clearly believe that, besides having maybe a month or maximum two of balances lying in a savings account, everything else needs to go away either to support shorter term goals or even longer term goals like your retirement. And therefore, clearly, if your balances in terms of requirement for emergency provisions are not going to be more than 50,000 rupees, which covers a month or two of expenses, then it doesn't make sense to maintain those kind of balances. On top of that, there could be double income families where husband and wife have salary accounts in two different places. So the money is actually distributed amongst multiple accounts as well. So our thought is that unless there is a very large amount of contingency monies or emergency monies that you require, either because your expenses are very high or there are lots of dependencies on your income because there are maybe parents or other people who also need to get supported. It is a good idea to think about whether I really need to keep 50,000 rupees in a savings account or keep the rest of my money away in arbitrage funds or liquid or overnight funds so that I can get a better rate of return than what I get in a savings account.
You want to weigh in on this, Prableen? So I've spoken to so many of the advisor community, and they've pretty much said the same thing. You can use a credit card for emergency purposes, and this is because T+1, which is transaction plus one, is when you get your liquid fund money, and T+2 is when you get your arbitrage fund money, and so it's not immediately available to you. So would you say emergencies, you can use your credit card and you have 6 months to 12 months of your expenses in liquid plus arbitrage?
So Alex, first on the point of this compulsory sort of a hike, which is for ICICI Bank, it's gone up to 50,000. So number one, that saving bank, it gives us, undeniable benefits. Of course, there's quick access to your money. Then, your deposits are insured up to 5 lakhs and other things. But any such hike, which is forced upon you, is not the right approach, because from the 26th of June, ICICI, for example, has set the saving bank interest rates at 2.5%. And let's say it was 10,000 earlier, now it is 50,000. So that 40,000 at 2.5 is going to earn you only about 1,000 rupees in a year. And if same was, let's say, utilized somewhere else, parked in a liquid fund, which was giving you just about 6%, still you were getting about 2,400. And for somebody who's contemplating whether I should keep, 40,000 or 50,000 or 10,000 in the savings bank account, I think that 1,400 rupee difference also means a lot. And any such, event of a compulsory rise definitely kind of shrinks their options. But yes, ideally, the better way is that then you split. If you still want to continue with a similar sort of a bank, probably if you want to keep 6 months of your contingency fund, then let's say maybe 2 months of your contingency fund can be in your savings bank account, and the 4 months can be in a liquid fund. So you'll have to split and devise a strategy wherein you're not paying a penalty. Of course, if you're not looking to change the bank, from the bank's perspective, it's a good way to save, because they are going to increase their profit margins with every investor if they're going to have this 40,000 difference, and the kind of interest payment that, reduced interest payment that they're going to make. So from the bank's point of view, it's great. But I think for investors, definitely for contingencies, I think liquid funds and arbitrage funds make a lot more sense.
I mean, the argument for the bank can be several, and we've discussed that through the day. I want to focus on what the individual should do, and both of you have pretty well summed up what the approach should be. Just one last point, Vishal, in the event that you do want to have this 50,000 rupees, one, of course, you've already stipulated if your expenses are to that extent, nothing changes for you. But if you're making that choice, would it be because the bank is giving you something that nobody else is offering you, maybe a better rate on a loan, or maybe a credit card product that is more beneficial? So it needs to make sense for you, right?
Absolutely. I think, there has to be a very strong reason, because unless we see the entire banking industry start to raise minimum balances where you're sort of not able to make a choice, you do want to be very clear that the reason why you're giving away that potential higher return on your liquidity is coming because there's something else that's offered to you by the bank, which is very unique. And, obviously for different people, that what is unique can vary. But I think it needs to be well thought through. It can't be the default decision saying that, anyway, I maintain 50,000 rupees in my bank account. Maybe this will sort of trigger people to think a little bit more deeply about the balances also that they maintain, and whether it's really sensible to maintain those kind of balances when you have so many other instruments available for yourself. And of course, you did make the very important point as well, Alex, that, for emergencies, typically now credit cards become very, very good tools because they give you instant access to emergency money, and it gives you time to take your money out from other places in the interim.
Jay Kotak had an important point that he made on social media platform X, where he said that 90% of India continues to earn less than 25,000 rupees. And by the way, that 25,000 rupees is the minimum average balance that will have to be maintained in semi-urban areas, 10,000 rupees in rural areas. So it's a pretty clear statement that the bank is making.